The hand-driven kerosene-powered lighthouse stands 120 feet above sea level and is visible from 17 miles out to sea. Deborah Patterson is the chairperson for the Abaco Lighthouse Society.
House out of 18,000 in the world that is kerosene burning and hand wound. So the mandate of the society, of the Elbow Reef Lighthouse Society, is to keep that lighthouse going, which is a very expensive proposition, and this is why so many have been automated. So we have a lot of supporters. We've had assistance mostly from private donations over the years, from this community of Hopetown on Elbow Key and surrounding islands. The Rotary Club, I think it was the East Nassau Rotary Club in particular, gave a wonderful donation, $37,000, towards the rebuild of the principal lighthouse keeper's quarters. So the entire roof, as you would have seen when you toured it, has been completely redone. Just last night, our lighthouse keeper, Jeffrey Forbes Jr., moved into his home 15 months after Hurricane Dorian. We couldn't have done it without Rotary.
On mainland Elbow Key, we heard about the delicious Hopetown Coffee House that was undergoing a rebuild following Hurricane Dorian. We were able to speak to the owner of the building, Valdo Prosa, who told us the secrets behind Abaco's famous little coffee house.
He got coffee beans from all over the world, and everybody that came here thoroughly enjoyed the coffee house, the coffee that he makes, because he was like a perfectionist as far as coffee is concerned. Roofs were crashing into the coffee house, and it basically destroyed the coffee house. But now, I've been working on the coffee house now for the last really 6 months, trying to get the outside of it looking decent, and I've achieved that. And now I'm working inside to eventually, when this COVID is over and done with, maybe the coffee house will be up and running again.
The family used to live on the upstairs, and the coffee shop was in the lower section. You'd have freshly roasted, freshly brewed coffee. It was a delight. Some of the best coffee I've ever had. This harbor used to be, this time of year, would be full of boats. Every mooring would have a boat on it, but not at the moment. But hopefully again soon.
Well, it's coming on, little by little, gradually, day by day, and we're not complaining. We're grateful, for all the help and what people are doing and the concerns and the prayers. And so, it haven't been easy, but guess what? Because of people like you guys and everyone that coming, it make it easy for us each day. But every now and again you think about it, and you just think about, if it had not been, where would we be? And my husband, he was one of those that really got affected in it all, because he thought about us, and he said, what if I have lost my wife or my son, because he feel like he didn't do what he's supposed to, but we had no control of it.
It took me about 3 months to get over the fact that I almost lost my family. As a matter of fact, I believe I had symptoms of post-traumatic syndrome. I would wake up in the middle of the night and couldn't get back to sleep. My wife told me, I was extremely snappy. I would really get agitated for the simplest of things. And so it's certainly been a challenge. We have seen an increase in death in Abaco, stroke, heart attack, just person's bodies just shutting down, the stress and the strain of going through the storm. Some people still, when they hear rain or a plate drop on the ground, they just snap and they're ecstatic. Well, we still have quite a bit of challenges. Obviously, there are a number of persons still without power, and if you had an opportunity to go throughout the community, you would find that there's still some people living in actual tents. Some people are still living in their homes with the roof being damaged, and whenever it rains, they have to move to different portions of their houses and try to clean up the water as much as possible. Food still is an issue. Building supplies are still in need. And obviously the pandemic has not helped the situation none, because with all the lockdowns we've had over the months, obviously that has slowed down the construction, the abilities of contractors and persons to have repairs done to their homes. So it's certainly been a challenge all around. We've seen the effects also in families and in marriages and even in the churches, because we've had quite a number of pastors who both their churches and their homes were damaged, and just trying to piece things together and try to bring some sort of sense to all of what's happening, and to try and comfort and console and teach the community through the Word of God. It certainly has been a challenging time for us.
Like I said, it was only God that we made it. And it's a good thing the storm came in the day and not in the night, because it would have been worse. Because after the storm, over 20 people were living here, you know. We were all living here. It's just that I guess it was only God, because I used to live here by myself. My sister used to live in her house with her 3 kids, and my other sister used to live in her house with her kids. So I was the only one that had a home for everybody to come when it was only me one. So we had the space, because it's 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. So we had the space for everybody to come in. I wouldn't say it was comfortable, because people were sleeping all over the floor. And I was sleeping in the sofa because I give a couple my bedroom with their kids. So I was sleeping in the sofa. Another couple was sleeping in the sofa. Like, we weren't comfortable, but everybody made the best out of it. A lot of people can't see because they weren't here. But when we met here, it's like 100% better now than what it was when we came back here 10 days after the storm. They did good. The Rotary was awesome. I mean, for what I appreciate it, because they didn't have to.
Yes, I would like to encourage persons out there that need help, that help is on the way. Don't give up. Don't stress yourself. If you can't do it, then, just leave it. But help is on the way. And the Rotary, when they came through for me, it was amazing. I have never had anyone done anything like that for me, and I am grateful to the Rotary for all that they have done, and they continue to do for the community.
Well, as you can see, the Murphytown district is really coming back very quickly. The restoration process is moving along swiftly because of the extra help from the government and from non-governmental agencies like Rotary Club. And so that little assistance that we get, although we're working, it's still, you have to deal with your other needs. And so that extra help that you get is able to help us push along and to get into our homes more quickly. Well, I learned from the Rotary Club through one of the contractors. And once I made application, I found that they were very expedient in their response to me. Mr. John came and he met with me. He met with me, and he viewed the house. Previously, I just asked for the roof, but when he saw that I needed interior work, he was very gracious and said, we can put in the doors, we can finish the roof, and that's why we are where we are today. And so I'm really grateful.
How you feeling, sir?
Oh, pretty good.
Pretty good. What happened to your leg? Knee?
Old man.
Old? Only clothes get old.
Huh?
Only clothes
Shoes and clothes.
Shoes and clothes.
Yeah, well, all right. Okay. Well, my knee is bothering me.
Okay. Do you use a wheelchair or just a walker?
I just get this 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I had trouble from here to there, not to the bathroom.
Okay. Do you require a wheelchair?
What's that?
Do you need a wheelchair?
Yes, if you have one.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. I'll be thankful.
We will try to locate one for you.
Huh?
We will try to locate one
Yeah,
for you.
okay.
You live here alone?
No, my son and my grandson.
Okay.
But they're going to wait to Mount Shaba.
What type of work you did prior to this?
What's that?
What type of work did you do?
Used to do.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my last part of work, I managed the golf course.
Okay.
I did that for 27 years.
A hole in one, or you went to the 18th hole? Which one?
Straight through the 18. I've been all over the place.
Okay.
Been on the contract. That's what damaged my knee. Okay. Up and down them ladder all day.
Okay.
Picking orange and grapefruit and stuff like that.
We will take a quick look
Yeah,
at your
go
house
ahead,
and see
go
what
ahead,
we
go
can,
ahead,
we can do
go
for
ahead.
you, okay?
Yeah, okay, I'll be glad for it. The Lord will help me.
You got that. Say that again?
I said the Lord will help you so you can help me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're very right with that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And so these fine ladies here, along with John, will take a look at what is required, and we will come together and give you some sense of comfort.
Thank you.
I'm going to work on that wheelchair for you.
Yes, sir. Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Penguin.
I'm seeing it.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you,
next
sir.
ship in the bedding that comes in, make sure I have at least one wheelchair with it. Bring me two, because I'm sure we're going to find somebody else, okay?
Definitely.
Done.
Thank you for actually focusing on Abaco. It really is fantastic that you're here and you're seeing 14 months later what's still going on. Immediately after the storm, water was a critical problem. We were flying in by jets millions of plastic single-use bottles that then became trash heaps. So in many conversations following storm, Water Mission, Samaritan's Purse were using well water and they were actually filtering it. But that wasn't sustainable for the volume of water that we needed for the community that was still here. So in many discussions with Rotary in the end of December and the beginning of the new year, with Pure H2O, their partner on the RO unit, reverse osmosis, we formed a collaboration to bring that unit here. I hosted Rotary on a day for a site inspection. They made the commitment to the decision to fund that unit with Pure H2O, and we found additional funding through Life of Key Charitable Trust to operate that. Many things happened. People realised that suddenly the scarcity of water and the fight to try and get clean water, we now had a solution. One that was environmentally sound and one that could actually release pressure on our very precious water wells that are here. We created Sleep Soundly Treasure through funding initially through the Treasure Key Community Foundation, additional online fundraising that we did. We purchased a mix of full, queen and king bed mattresses, frames, all the linens that go with it, pillows and blankets. and we had a distribution for that 4 weeks ago. So the one thing that Rotary is amazing with too is it's not, philanthropy is, yes, everyone immediately thinks about it's the money and the financial support. But the beauty of Rotary is they have a dedicated network of individuals who will also offer up their time. So if you have an ability, you don't have financial ability, you have 2 able hands and 2 feet, then volunteer and donate your time. That's the first thing that I would request, because there are so many ways that you can actually help.
Hi, I'm Charles Seeley, District Governor for District 7020. And it is such a pleasure to be here this morning at Kelly's, and I'm standing here with Mr. Danny Culmer, who's the manager here at this particular location. And I just want to say how profoundly grateful we are at Rotary for the support by Kelly's in this great initiative we're doing in Abaco. We're doing a home restoration. Notice I didn't say house restoration. What we're doing here is giving people a hope that everything is going to be okay, that they can restart, they can rebuild their lives. And we're looking, of course, to support these families who were impacted by Hurricane Dorian. And we're building these communities one home at a time. And so I really want to say a special thank you to Kelly's, who's partnered with us. We have a number of other strategic partners, those who are donors, those who are helping us to facilitate getting these supplies to the island, and those on the ground who are doing the work. So I want to say a tremendous thank you to all of them, but very especially at this moment in time, to thank Kelly's for the great work they're doing to support us in this most valuable enterprise.
We are very, very pleased and happy to work with the Rotary Club to help those families in Abaco, and it's also really, really good for us to work with an organization that knows how to get things done the proper way. We've seen pictures, we've seen people really, really grateful for the help and the support they've actually done for them. So for us, it's a no-brainer to work with an organization like the Rotary Club. And
here's another load getting ready to be shipped out, and so here's another set of families who's going to have a home which they can start from again. Thank you.
Another load of supplies destined for the people of Abaco in Rotary's efforts in restoring the lives and the homes of those affected during the storm of Abaco.
Shipping Company, the MV Legacy and the MV Championship. We do our best to work hand in hand with the Rotary in any way possible to try to help rebuild Abaco as quick as possible.
With the onset of the global COVID-19 pandemic, some students have been left behind because they lack access to the necessary technology to engage in virtual schooling, creating a digital divide. The Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas has recognized the dilemma and continues its impactful partnership with Alive and Rev, providing students with digital devices and internet service. In November 2020, the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas made a remarkable donation of $102,000 to the Ministry of Education to assist both teachers and students with closing that digital divide. Their most recent effort took place at the Department of Education at the government complex in Marsh Harbor, Abaco.
Rotary Bahamas, Clubs of the Bahamas, in partnership with Cable group of companies is pleased today here on the island of Abaco to make this presentation to each of you families here representing your children who are engaged in their various aspects of educational pursuits. We want to thank also present this morning Minister of Education, Mr. Jeffrey Lloyd, and Minister responsible for this area of Abaco, Minister Darren Henfield, for being here this morning for this initiative. What we in Rotary believe that no student will be left behind. We have engaged in an ambitious project to provide data to support the devices with whom most of you have received thus far. All of the teachers who are engaged in providing the education to the students will likewise receive data packages that will take them through to the end of this school year, that being July of 2021. So we take this opportunity on behalf of our district governor, Mr. Charles Seeley, past Rotary International President Barry Rasson, AG Carla Card Stubbs, responsible for District 70E20 West. I'm Assistant Governor Ken Strawn, responsible for District 7020 East. My President Dwayne, Rotary Club of Abaco. And where your troubles lie, take them to Dwayne. He'll bring them to us.
And I cannot congratulate the Rotary Clubs and all of our collaborators alive and the great leadership of our District Superintendent, Mrs. Russell, for the excellent work being done here in Abaco, assisting our students in getting the best in the experiential learning through this virtual platform that now has been essentially thrust upon us by firstly Dorian and then the COVID experience. I'm proud of the effort being made by our various NGOs and all of our partners and stakeholders in this very important exercise to ensure that our students do not suffer an educational deficit, which in some of their cases may be irrecoverable. So I'm proud of this moment, really grateful to all concerned, and please, Mr. Strawn and Dwayne, take back to your respective communities our heartfelt thanks and appreciation for this very wonderful contribution. And may I say, parents, that I am continuing to be proud of what I've heard in Abaco and how committed you are to the education of your children, that you are, in a sense, moving heaven and hell to get work done to ensure that they don't slip behind in this very necessary development of their own lives.
It is fantastic to see groups from the Bahamas. Rotary Abaco is here and Rotary International, because we had a lot of NGOs in this island, about 1,400 of them, following Dorian, and we could not recover. We could not come to this state where we are now in just over a year without that kind of assistance. I am so proud and pleased to see Rotary Bahamas filling that void, because after the hurricane has come and you've done the first aid stuff, people go home, you know. We're alive as long as there's another event, such as what we saw in Dorian on the 1st of September 2019. But Rotary is here to stay. It's homegrown. It's doing a wonderful work in Abaco.
We are very excited and pleased and elated for Rotary to actually come and donate these devices to us, because they are much needed here on the island of Abaco. Because since post-Dorian, we will have had many of our students who will have been displaced, and also many of the schools were badly damaged. And plus on the onset of COVID-19, so therefore a lot of students find themselves not being able to have actually the necessary schooling that is desperately needed. So therefore we had to go into the virtual school environment, which means now that we needed these devices. We have many of the students again who are parents who actually were not able to afford the devices. So by Rotary actually coming here and donating these devices, we can now better reach our students, and also teachers can also have access to the devices so they can actually teach the students.
There were 3,500 plus students in Abaco before Hurricane Dorian, and that's between the public schools and the private schools, because we have a partnership with the private schools as well. after Hurricane Dorian, that number went down to under 500 children. In the space of a month, we would have seen that number move from 1,000 to 1,300 to 1,500. We are now up to 1,815 children in the public school system and a little bit over 200 in the private school system. It says to me that parents are coming home. And having spoken to some of our parents, they're living in conditions that are not the most conducive. They are living in homes that do not have electricity. They're living in homes that have been mucked and gut, that don't have walls, but they wanted to come home to help build Abaco. And we're excited about that. We know it's difficult. We know it is uncomfortable, the environment that they're living in, but they want to be home. And that does our heart good because we want them to be home to build Abaco back to what it used to be. Now, in coming home, however, there's a shortage of housing, and not only for them, but a shortage of housing for our teachers. And so we were not able to bring in all of the teachers. We had 162 teachers on the island before Hurricane Dorian, and now we have 84 teachers back. And they're not all back physically. Some of them are back virtually because we cannot find homes for them. And so the fact that the Rotary decided to ask us, Ms. Russell, what do you need? And I heard the cries of parents and I heard the cries of teachers as well as the Ministry of Education. We have been agitating for, support. And so what the Rotary did was provide data plans and devices, not just the devices, but the data plans to go with them, because our schools are under repair. There was nowhere to house our teachers to provide a quality education. So imagine the big gap, no housing and no schools to provide education. And so everything had to be virtual. And Rotary assisted us by providing data plans for our teachers so that they could give the quality education because they're using their personal data plans. And they were using their personal devices until the ministry sent some devices for them. And then, of course, our parents were using their phones, for their data plans, those who could. And those who could not afford it, then those children were not getting any support until our teachers decided to send some physical work to them, where they actually carry home the work. But because of Rotary, we were able to access data plans, devices for our children.
When I come back here, I couldn't even find the corner. I gone to the next corner and missed my corner. That's how bad it was. No one come, only Rotary Club. I asked for assistance from different agencies just to get the ice and water shield to stop the water from coming down. Because after the hurricane, the shingle layer on my roof is just torn apart. And in between the crack with the plywood joint, that's where the water started to come. I was out of my shop trying to do a car, try to make a couple of dollars. And what happened is one man said, just come back by your house. I see Mr. Ken Swan, because I know he was on the floor. I said, Ken Swan, that's you? He said, I haven't locked it before. I said, no, I never locked me before. He said, what happened? I said, I need your help. He walked over, he was going to this house here. He walked over here and he said, okay, what you need? I said, I just need to sleep. I said, water, this house here pouring down. I can't even sleep. Every time the rain comes down, I go one room to the next room to the next room, just to subside from the water from getting me. So he said, okay, today's your lucky day. Whatever we need me to do, if I get help by that, whatever. I do body work, you can see them. If they need me to paint a car for them or do whatever they need to do to help, I'll do it for them. That's great. So Rotary Club do a good job. They help a lot of people. So I'm so thankful for them helping me and my tenants. So whatever they need me to do to help them, I will do it.
This whole place was rubble. She got started, I call it 3 Sundays ago. You joking with me, right?
It was rough.
It was rough?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a roller coaster.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I thank God.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I thank God.
There you go.
Yeah. The Rotary helped me so much. I wanted to burst out in tears. They gave me sheetrock, doors, everything. I had joint compounds. I don't need anything. They gave me everything for my house for inside. And I appreciate that.